Henry Cavill's name is once again making the Hollywood rounds, and it's landing with some notable franchises that, might get me interested. I understand that it's key jangling, and most of them are just written by children, but there's a possibility it could be good, especially when you hear Henry Cavill and James Bond in the same sentence. I mean, come on, man, but Henry Cavill would gladly consider playing James Bond villain. We'd kind of want you on the other side, and you were this close. You were this close to being James Bond in the previous canon, in the Daniel Craig, I need to point with the right hand, okay, in the Daniel Craig canon, which would have been great, but then again, okay, hearkening back to it's written by children, yeah, he wouldn't have come out the other side of that. But maybe he would have looked like he actually gave a shit about being in any of those movies outside of 2 iterations. Him being a villain, that's interesting, because they're using a picture of him in Mission Impossible Fallout that I hear is far and away not just the best Mission Impossible movie, but also, one of the greatest action films, and it's in no small part due to Henry Cavill's performance as the antagonist in the film. I mean, if they aren't going to cast him as a 00, I mean, if he's going to be a villain, that'd be pretty cool, right? We don't know. We don't know the next James Bond, who it'll be, but one name that's been bandied around enough is Henry Cavill's. Yes, exactly, the one-time contender for the role. The star of The Witcher is likely sick of being asked about it, and yeah, he said that, I definitely want to. It's one of those standout roles that anybody would be lucky to have. That said, on the subject of being a villain to 007, he's open to the ideas. The movie dweeb asked the DCEU actor if being an antagonist within the franchise is something that would be of interest. Cavill makes it clear that though he hasn't heard anything, the door is always open. A Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson interested in me in any capacity to be part of their movies, then I will gladly have that discussion. That would be something I'd be very keen to explore further. But yes, Cavill famously tried out for Bond some years back on Casino Royale. I think it would... And Casino Royale is so good, except for its overextent. Like, if they would have put all of that stuff with Vesper Lind at the beginning of Quantum of Solace, maybe anybody would remember Quantum of Solace. I just think that the ending is too long. They really should have ended it after the hospital scene at the end, where they reveal the the password to the laptop. Oh, God, I love that movie, but I have nitpicks with it as well. It's one of my top 10 favorite movies, but I can still say it's not perfect or infallible. Anyways, obviously, yes, Craig ultimately got the chance, but he's now in the new big screen Superman and our small screen Geralt of Rivia on streaming service on Netflix. It's kind of interesting because, no longer Superman left the Witcher series because they weren't faithful to the canon. Now he has Warhammer 40k, and he also might have another role in a big budget franchise. And guys, I've been very critical about Marvel, and I know this is probably getting my hopes up for something that's just not going to be good. Kind of like that announced Naked Gun reboot starring Liam Neeson. Okay, I've seen that, and it's one of those things where normally you just see an announcement of a reboot or anything new coming out of Hollywood, and you have the initial reaction of, ugh, why are they doing that? But there's a possibility. It's a small possibility, okay? It could still be written by absolute crayon eaters. I do understand that, okay? But Liam Neeson's not a bad choice to be the Leslie Nielsen stand-in. He's a funny guy. I think it could work. I would be intrigued. And if I hear that it's good, there's a possibility I check it out. Because I love Leslie Nielsen. Okay, that guy... underrated comedy actor, and I know what you say, Don, underrated, but whenever anybody mentions some of their favorite comedies, like the Naked Gun movies, don't get mentioned near enough. Him in Scary Movie 3, oh my God, is hilarious. I love Leslie Nielsen. The guy's great. And I hear Henry Cavill joining up with the MCU, and yeah, there's apparently going to be a taste of him in an upcoming film and a very interesting cameo. Well... it's not going to make me go see that movie, because if he's only going to be in it for, a split second, who really cares? And frankly, the movie over the top of it isn't doing anything for me. But him, already revealed his condition to join the MCU. I'm never going to say. It's just going to be interesting, right? Because being the face, he was Superman, for God's sakes, being the face of the competition and then coming over to Marvel, their time of need, he's not going to accept a diminished role. Plus, Disney would either look petty or completely stupid to continue the trend of wasting the talent that is Henry Cavill. But what's his condition? Henry Cavill was well on his way of Oh, to enlisting in the military and joining the Royal Marines, like a couple of his older brothers, if acting had not snatched him up at the age of 17. He luckily stepped into Hollywood with a role in the film Laguna, released in 2001. Interesting. He was also in 2000. Really, he was in The Count of Monte Cristo in 2002. Interesting. Yeah, went on to play Clark Kent or Kal-El. No. Ugh. Recently, there's been a lot of talk surrounding his debut as a Marvel character. Yes, although the actor is not opposed to playing a character in the MCU, he has a condition that must be fulfilled if he plays a Marvel character. He gets to have a gun. Oh, the first significant role that, Cavill played on screen was Charles Brandon. Yes, the first Duke of Suffolk in Showtime's The Tudors. He was in The Immortals, won't hold that against him. And then, he was Zack Snyder's Superman. Ugh. But now that he's been replaced by David Cornsweet as Superman, Cavill could make his MCU debut. However, he has a condition that he revealed during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter while saying which character he would like to play in the MCU. I'm never going to say a Marvel character that has already been played by someone else, because everyone's doing such an amazing job. Henry Cavill's reluctance to play an existing character is understandable, as is noted that he would like to portray Brian Braddock's Captain Britain. Yeah, that's one of those fantasy castings that people have had in their mind for a very long time, and recently there was also rumblings that he had signed on within the past couple of days, that he had signed on for some role. And then also it's like, okay, was it that cameo, or if there's any truth behind this, I mean, brother, it could be big, but it could also be too little too late. Henry Cavill has accepted a part in the MCU. Scooper's claims, have left the fans in frenzy. Here are the Marvel roles that, netizens want to see him in. Obviously, Captain Britain, Hyperion, debuted in Avengers 69, nice, and exists as both the hero and the villains in the Marvel multiverse. Roy Thomas, Saul Buscema created him, as per the creator. Thomas Hyperion created the homage to Superman and could be the perfect role. Interesting, so it's basically a different Superman. Could play Cyclops, also hearing him potentially be another X-Men, which could also set him up for the role that he's apparently been tapped for. Sentry, but we already know that Sentry has been recast as somebody else. And then Silver Surfer. Interesting. So it doesn't really fit the look of Silver Surfer, but there's also rumors that the Silver Surfer is coming down the line, and it's going to be the Silver Surf her. But this does play into the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out. After the casting of the Fantastic Four was announced by Marvel, Henry Cavill's allegedly joining the MCU is once again going viral on social media platform. Fans are speculating that he might have been offered the role of Dr. Goddamn Doom. And this news was picked up by a scooper, so just go ahead and take it with a bucket of salt. But I mean, letting him be a villain, it would definitely fit in with Marvel's predisposition to, casting guys that kind of look like Henry Cavill in villainous roles. It makes sense. But then, of course, it's also been rebuffed, actually. Oh, no, maybe it's not right. Okay, maybe he's not going to be Doctor Doom. Maybe he's going to be Captain Britain. Okay, maybe the fans are actually going to get something that they want for once. Or maybe that's going to be the case. Or maybe we're going to have to wait until Deadpool and Wolverine in order to figure out if anything's going to happen. This cameo playing a multiverse version of Wolverine. Oopsie daisy, dropped the spoiler on that one. But hey, I guess time will tell. But I don't know, I'm going to hold out hope on that one. Because we know that Marvel is, they're kind of looking for a face of the Avengers, and B, a big overarching villain. And, this is at a point in time where the Marvel needs as many star power latent actors as they can get, and nobody is going to have more goodwill amongst a disaffected fan base than the guy that they may or may not have potentially wrapped up. So we'll have to see if that whole retooling is going to be effective or not. And to be fair, we're still probably a couple of years away to see if any of this is going to ultimately manifest. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.